Welcome back into another episode of Indiebnb. Today, I'm joined by the ever creative Dave Lee.
Yeah, I'm
Dave,
here.
how are we?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Excited to chat with you. I mean,
Yeah.
the creator of the cardboard sessions, the creator of some instruments with cardboard. I mean, I gotta start with the material. I mean, what's up with paper? What do we love about it?
What are we working with? Well,
Yeah.
this story goes back, quite a few years. I think a little bit of history is important. So,
Sure.
many years ago, I mean, I have a snowboard company. I've had it for 20 years called Signal Snowboards. That's where you'll see the credit of Signal as a production company on these projects. And for like 10, 12, 13 years, we did this show called Every Third Thursday where we built these crazy snowboards out of all sorts of materials. And we made the first snowboard out of glass. We made snowboards out of Legos. We also made snowboards out of cardboard, and that was the introduction to earnest packaging. And after that episode, we stayed very close, and we decided to kick up a series called Cardboard Chaos, which was the show that kind of took Every Third Thursday and played with cardboard. So we would just come up with product. We came up with the first. We were like, let's make a surfboard. So we'd make a surfboard out of cardboard. We made a skateboard that Tony Hawk rode, and then we started getting into instruments, and that led us to our friend at Fender, master builder Paul Waller, and Paul was down to build a Fender Strat, and that the rest is kind of history. Like that thing took off, went mad viral on the internet, and also landed at NAMM that year. And this is like 10 years ago, and so. From there, like the cardboard company's happy, we're having fun, we're meeting people, and we just continue making stuff. So we ended up making a drum set. From there, like the drummer from STP, Stone Temple Pilots played that, and then we made a bass with Fender, made some other guitars, and it was just like we would. Basically, it was just kind of a continuation of what we were doing in snowboarding, but with like cardboard and a different venue, an entirely different budget and group of people, but similar concept. And so then the pandemic hits and we're all locked inside, and I started watching all these music, like all my favorite musicians playing these playing these shows online. And I was like, you know what? When this is over, let's like drag all those instruments out and just start our own like session, like cardboard sessions.
Yeah.
And we'll just have them play these guitars and drums that are sitting in our storage unit, basically collecting dust. And we have, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm like, I grew up on MTV, and I have history there. So I have a lot of friends that are musicians, and I just started calling them all. I'm like, hey, let's play, let's have you play these instruments. And that started with John Theodore from Queens of the Stone Age and Isaiah Mitchell from Earthless. They were the first session, 3 years ago, and since then it's been like nonstop. Like we've had Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr., we've had Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, we've had Keanu Reeves from Dogstar, and it's just sort of like keeps sort of moving on. We've had Marcus King, which is almost a million views, and it's just fun. Like it's honestly the whole idea behind it, and I know kind of this is more like an innovation podcast, is really just bringing people together, building something interesting and utilizing it. Like the idea is like there are people who build things and they go on a shelf. Like we build things and we like basically hope to use it to failure. if that makes sense. Like I'm happy if like we play these things until they don't play anymore. And that's kind of the concept. Like maybe at some point, those things break and they're no longer usable, and there's no more cardboard sessions, or we decide to make new instruments, which a little bit of a insight into our next one, which is we did make an acoustic guitar that's coming out soon. So
Wow.
we're having fun, we're being creative, we're bringing people together. That's what it's all about.
I love it. Well, a lot of follow up there. I want to kind of start at the back at the front there.
Yeah.
I think obviously the question, with snowboards, which one was the most expensive to make? Which one, was the one that like you were surprised actually worked versus not worked? So give me a little. I want to go. We'll go
Wow.
snowboards, then I want to come
And
back to sessions.
those are good questions, and this was a long time ago. So um, I don't know which one was most expensive. I know probably the most famous one is the glass snowboard. We
Yeah.
traveled to Italy. And we made the first snowboard, like no skis, no skateboards. This all, like, when people copied us over the years and have made like skateboards out of glass and stuff like that. But before
Yeah.
this, like, no one had ever thought to make a snowboard out of glass or a skateboard out of glass. And we ended up getting that idea from an old friend of mine in Italy, who had connections with glass makers and basically the factory that makes all of the tempered glass for Bugatti and Lamborghini. And
Wow.
so we were like, oh hell yeah, let's go over there and do that. And again, these were similar to like cardboard world, is, just if I have an opportunity to pull some budget or pull some resources together to get a bunch of friends together to go make something, I'm all in. So
Yeah.
like a lot of times we'll throw ideas out there, and people are like, yeah, we can make that happen, or give me a minute, or that's impossible, we can't do it. But as soon as someone says it's a go, we're usually there and ready to go. So that one was probably one of the most famous ones. I mean, we've had some others. We made a board out of recycled skateboards with the legendary skateboard builder Paul Schmidt. In our industry, coming from skateboarding, the dude's a legend. Like, he's
Yeah.
made skateboards for everybody. So we took all these old skateboards, broke them down, and made them into a new snowboard. We did a snowboard with Jack Daniels, where we went to the Jack Daniels plant, got the full tour, and then took their whiskey barrels home, broke them down, made it into all the whiskey barrel is a snowboard basically at the end of it. And so,
Wow.
yeah, that's sort of that's the history of us, and just like finding ways to take things and build them into more interesting things, I guess, and bring people together. And so that inspired Earnest Packaging CEO Tim Wilson. That got Mike Martinez, the sort of packaging specialist, there on board, which is so awesome. I mean, think about that. Like, you're working in cardboard every day trying to solve, maybe an issue of shipping eggs and having them not break, or shipping something and having it not, fail. And all of a sudden, we come in and we're like, hey, we want to make like surfboards and skateboards and snowboards,
Yeah.
and guitars. And so it just completely changed the culture at Earnest Packaging, this cardboard company in California. They opened up, they opened up the opportunity for us to build more things and work with different people, and it's just been an absolute like blast.
Yeah. I love that. Well, like, obviously, the action sports kind of angle, like action sports and music kind of similar, always are crossing paths, it seems like. And so, like, for you, whenever you obviously have built relationships with some musicians over the past, is that from the snowboarding background that you kind of had? And like,
Yeah,
tell
for
me a little
sure.
bit more
I
about
mean,
that.
I grew up in Seattle in the '90s, so I grew up in the grunge era. I was a professional athlete. I was a professional snowboarder in like the mid '90s. We we did events that were sports and music festivals. So I met a lot of bands. A lot of friends of mine play in like really well known bands. So it's just yeah, it's kind of growing up in that era, like being lucky enough to be a part of it and be integrated. I also have like Mark Waringa, who's my co-founder at Signal. He's got a lot of great connections, and if I'm ever short on one, he's pulling up the slack, and he's got good friends. And he was basically very tight with the um, like sorry, the Lincoln Park crew. I was like
Yeah.
trying to think, like, who am I talking about? So like he was very tight with Chester back in the day, and Chester was the one that sort of grabbed the cardboard guitar in its infancy and was like, look how fucking sick this thing is, and
Yeah.
that helped it kind of move across the internet. So yeah, it's just good connections over many years. You're right, skateboarding, snowboarding, music, it goes hand in hand. We're just very lucky
Yeah.
to be in the
I mean,
space.
for you, like whenever we get to the, when you first hand that to somebody, like, are you nervous? Like, you're like, all right, like
Oh yeah,
this,
yeah,
he could break this thing
yep,
immediately by just ripping it too hard. Like, who made you most nervous whenever you handed him the guitar for the first
yeah.
time?
My friend Jordan Cook, who that's his real name, but he goes by Rainwolf, and he did a
Sure.
session in the first year with Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine, and Jordan is just an absolute beast on guitar. Like um, yeah, I mean, the dude basically is just like another level guitar player.
He's a machine. He's a
Yeah,
machine.
yeah. And so when I gave it to him, we're friends, and then I know how good he is, but I also know that he kind of goes to another world when he plays guitar. Like you sort of, if you've ever been to one of Rainwolf shows or you know him, like if you ask him about something later, like he has to kind of think about, like he kind of goes to another place, so he sort of gets transported. And I thought, I'm gonna hand him this guitar and he's just gonna break it, like, and he won't even know it, and
Yeah.
he'll still be able to play it broken because he's that good. So
Yeah.
we'll be fine. But um, he definitely, if you watch him play that thing, it's absolutely bonkers. Like, and it was one take. They were both very busy, so a lot of times we're able to go in there and we have a couple hours and we can kind of get things to, like, if you're not happy with the first take, we can take a second take. He's just like one take and done. Like, that is the most pure session we have probably on the in the series, just because it really is him and Brad just sitting, picking up the guitar, sitting at the drums, playing once and then being done. Uh, and that was, to be honest, like, I love this moment to be able to just kind of say, like, that was the whole idea and concept behind Cardboard Sessions, which is like that spark, when you get to see people at their best. Because sometimes when we go to most times when we go to a show, or we see people, even these athletes that we love, in a game, it's like it's just hours and hours of practice, and they're, like, it's those moments where they're caught off guard that you love, and they just come through. Like, we just all watched the World Series. It was insane. But, like, to be able to see the musicians sort of create new music or have these moments between them that are maybe unexpected, that was the whole goal with this set, with Cardboard Sessions, and to use the cardboard, instruments as the, sort of the magnet to bring everybody in. I guess that's
Yeah.
that's the goal. But yeah, I hope some people see that in those sessions, and and sort of what we're building.
Yeah. And I noticed whenever I watched, the making of the guitar, like, I guess it's not all 100, like, the strings aren't cardboard, right? The
Right.
the whole
Yeah.
entire, like, there are parts of people, just so people who are listening, they can kind of picture,
Yeah.
it's not everything is cardboard. However, the part that is probably the most important, that has to have the most integrity,
Yeah.
the neck, and obviously the bass part of it is indeed made of cardboard. So, like,
Yeah.
how nervous do you get, I guess, people smoking cigarettes around around the cardboard. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like,
Or
we
just,
got some
you know,
flammability.
whatever, just like spilling something on them, have a
Yeah,
glass of water near it. I mean, they are, like you said, they are, the bodies, the necks are all cardboard. There are truss rods in the necks that hold it into place, but that doesn't mean that they don't have more, variability, because it is cardboard at the end of the day. It's not, solid wood. The drums are all cardboard, minus the hardware you see on them to hold the skins on. But those are
yeah,
fully 100% cardboard shells. There's no wood in them at all. So there was a time when we went to New Orleans in the first year, and we had Stanton Moore, who's a pretty famous drummer, kind of get into it and stand on the kick drum ring and just break it, because it's just cardboard. So he just stepped right through it. That was the good part, was it was just the ring that kind of holds the actual, the drum skin onto the kick drum. But we were able to just make another one. But if you would have broke the actual cylinder, like, it would have been a whole thing, and we
yeah,
do have a backup kit, but it's, these things are super fragile. They're basically one of ones, and we do have a couple of extra things if something happens, but we try to protect them at all costs, because, like I said, that's part of this. Like, there's an impermanence to all of this. Like, at some point, we might just be done because we ran out of instruments, or it goes a different direction. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what's I guess looking ahead to that, like who do you want the last person to play the
Oh,
guitar to be?
Jesus, dude, that's such a good question. Um, I had a moment. I got to be honest. Like I had this conversation the other day. So we had this dude, this rocker, this legend, Terry Reed, play our guitar. Maybe last year, and his story. He just passed away. His story is he was asked to be in Led Zeppelin from Jimmy Page, and he turned it down. And he said, why don't you hire my friend Robert Plant?" And so Robert Plant steps in, joins the band, and it becomes Led Zeppelin, right? And so he's kind of notoriously, like, if you Google him, if you Google Terry Reid, you'll see like kind of the man that missed the big opportunity. Well, he came in and he had this idea. Like, he was in all these amazing bands. Like, there's plenty of awesome videos of Terry in the '70s just playing epic, like, you know uh, jazz festivals and like rock, old '70s like rock stuff where you're just like, dude, he's just insane. But he came in. He had this idea to do this sort of crooner um, song that he hadn't been in the studio in 10 years, and he has this crazy backstory, and everybody knows it. And it just was kind of like a magical moment where I thought, after this, once it was all complete, and you guys can all go watch that one on the internet on YouTube. But I was like, man, if we never do another one again, this was the goal, right? Like, you grab
Wow.
somebody who's a legend, you get them out of their comfort zone, or you get them back into the studio after a decade or more, and you give them a chance to go play something, record something that just brings themselves, like, he was in tears over it because he just hadn't been able to experience that in so long. And so that was like I feel really good about where we're at. But like, who would I want to play the last session? Holy shit, that's like, man, there's so many people. Like, you know damn, like, I need to like think on that and have a real
Yeah.
answer for you, because um I tend to like live in, like, you know anywhere from like legends to 90s epic guitar players to like even current um guitar players. Wow. And drummers. Like, man, I almost like
Yeah.
fantasy football or something. I need to put like up my fantasy
Yeah.
team together
Yeah,
of
you get
and have a better
you get
answer.
the draft. You can kind of go
Yeah,
through and be
like,
like, you know
I
what, I
need
want
I hope.
Primus's guy on the bass, like,
Right,
or
right. Yeah, you get like, yeah, you like get Les Claypool to play with,
yeah,
uh, fuck, I don't know, like, Kim Thale from Soundgarden, or and yeah, I mean, dude, there's so many people. That's a really great question. I need a better answer. I'm sorry I don't have it.
hey, hey, all good,
I
all
feel
good.
like I'd be leaving too many people out. Um,
Yeah,
but I do think, like, having Billy Gibbons come in, who was like, and said I'm kind of Gen X, so that was somebody like I really shared with, like, I was a musician, like I shared with my dad, like, growing up and stuff. Like, that was pretty cool. Like, to have Billy Gibbons come in and just be all about it and into it. Um, yeah.
wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, as you guys are, how long does it take to create one of these sessions? Like, obviously a lot of work going in, flying people in. Do y'all have one space you do them in, or do you do them in multiple
Yeah.
spaces? Like, what's that look like?
Yeah, that's we kind of we love that we're a little bit flexible. We pick studios based on where the artists are, usually, and then
Hmm.
sometimes we'll come up with a plan, like, to come to New York or something, and we'll try to book a couple of sessions, and just, if we're gonna be here, we'll be here for a week, and I live here, so it's bringing everybody else
Yeah.
out. But like, when we went to New Orleans, we had a couple of players play. We always, one of the big um, idea. We'd love to go to Nashville and have like a bunch of people from Nashville play it, or play a session. Yeah, it's mostly LA. But we like to mix up the studios. Sometimes it's, we ask the artist, like, what's your you're here in LA, where would you like to play? And they have like
Yeah.
a dream studio they've never been in, we try to, facilitate that as well. I think that's kind of the magic of this too. It's like you just don't know where we're going to end up. We might end up in Sunset Sound. We might end up in Gold Diggers. We might end up in somebody's, studio, in somebody's house. Just we can go
Yeah.
anywhere. We're pretty flexible.
That's awesome. And then kind of getting back, you mentioned a couple things, about action sports. I'm, a kid who grew up born in 94. So
Yeah,
like,
same.
mid 2000s, like X Games,
Yeah.
man, like, kind of off the beaten path here. But like,
Mm.
do you see, how do you love how much do you love the progression of the sport of snowboarding? I mean, like from, where it's, where you were into, where it is now, like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely seeing like this huge progression happening in the last like 4 years. There's sort of waves. You see it come and go.
Yeah.
Like same with skateboarding. Like skateboarding's going through an incredible amount of evolution right now, just because you don't know if it's coming from video games or just like people starting off. Like I always say, like every new generation of skater or snowboarder or any athlete starts where the last one left off. So like whatever we did when we were younger, like the new crop coming in was like taking it from
Yeah.
there and moving forward. And to see some of these guys snowboarding and taking tricks that, I mean, they weren't even we didn't even think, like we weren't even thinking about these tricks back when I was a
Yeah.
pro athlete. Like we were like there's I saw something come out the other day. I can't even remember, but my family was laughing at me because I had a calculator out, because it was like I couldn't figure out how many rotations it was. It was just so many. It was like I was like, wait a minute, like I know what a 2260 might be, but like how many rotations is that? And I had to like break it down, because I can picture doing like a 900 or a whatever, but like yeah, it's gotten to a place where it's just incredible to see these young athletes just take it to another world. And yeah. And
Yeah.
in some ways, I'm curious what you think. Like as somebody who grew up with these action sports, I sometimes think like new people getting into the sport must feel like it's so unattainable to think about doing anything like what they're doing in the park or on a snowboard or on a skateboard. That where do you even begin? Like, I don't know.
Well, Dave, I wouldn't have dreamed it. My brother bet me $100 that I couldn't do a kickflip 6 years ago in 1 year, and I paid him that $100 with regret. But
Oh,
I,
dude,
I,
really?
I look,
Did
I'm
you even
200.
try?
Of course,
Okay.
I watched the videos. I got the little like savers on the like the little things
Yeah.
that kept the skateboard from going anywhere. Like,
Damn.
it's just it. Look,
That's a great
I
bet,
played
by the way.
football, so like the
Yeah.
ankles are bad,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's like I think that that kind of thing, training your ankles to flick like this,
Yeah.
like it's just something that had I not played,
Yeah.
many years of football, I would have been able to do maybe. But
That's
like, it's funny, like I think about that sport versus there's not really a ton of progression, in that sport. It's like, yeah, we can make people bigger, faster, stronger, but like we haven't come forward since the forward pass. Like you do
Yeah.
double cork 1260 or the 1440, and it's like they're figuring out new ways to spin somehow. And then
Yeah.
like I think the fact that we have X Games and like the slow-mo camera has made
Yeah.
it like so much more incredible, because it's like you see it in real time, you're like, wow, that looked awesome, but then you watch it again and it's like, here's how high they are, here's how high, like here's how many rotations, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and it's
It's
something that just like is blowing my mind.
It is wild. It's really incredible to watch. We have one of our athletes, well, a couple of our athletes in Signal. One of them won the silver medal in 2018 in slopestyle, Kyle Mack, and then we have a rider right now going to the Olympics in February for pipe, Levko, and so. Yeah, man, these guys are nuts. Like
Yeah.
it's really fun to see people reach that level, and kind of be able to spectate, especially as somebody who came from a professional, like
Yeah.
like it's funny because when I was a professional snowboarder, like these tricks were not invented yet, but like at the same time, the tricks that we were learning and inventing felt as, as far off as some of the tricks that they're inventing now. So it's a very interesting space for me to sit in and watch, and it feels really good to just like kind of cheer on the sport, and probably for you
Yeah.
too, as like somebody who played ball, and like just seeing
Yeah.
like the new crop of people come in and get excited about it and take it and do their thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
100%. Well, do you think you'll ever be, are you the best cardboard snowboarder in the world, do you
Oh
think?
man,
Still?
I didn't even ride that cardboard. I just cheered everybody on that was riding it.
Yeah.
I probably, I'm probably a little too aggressive to ride cardboard, to be honest. But like,
Yeah.
snowboarding. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think that we could build, the whole idea behind a cardboard snowboard, honestly, was like for the traveler. If I really want to take you all the
Sure.
way back, like I thought, what if we could make the one like sort of board where it wasn't like you were gonna have like this crazy day in Colorado or something where you took 30 laps. It was more like, hey, it just snowed. We're on this thing. I have this like this recyclable, this snowboard thing that we can recycle at the end of the day. Let's go take a couple of laps on it, throw it in the recycling bin, and move on. Like that was kind of the
Yeah.
idea. Like what if like you could just buy, like you go to when it snows here in New York, you go to a bodega and there's $15 sleds everywhere or $30 sleds everywhere. What if you could
Yeah.
just grab a cardboard snowboard for $25? It'd be fun. That was kind of the idea.
Love that.
So maybe, like I could be that guy that makes the the
The
recycled snowboard for you.
the recyclable. How much is that company, like obviously you've brought some innovation to them. Like, were you shocked at how like really versatile cardboard was? I mean,
Yeah.
like I would have
Yeah.
been blown. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I see boxes get wet all the time.
Yeah.
They can't do this now. We're riding them on snow. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I mean, I'm also always a little bit blown that we're just like we just keep continuing to make things, and people come forward and they want to make stuff with us. There's a lot of ideas out there. Like
Yeah.
we just did the cardboard classic slip-on with Vans last year, and we flew all the way to Vietnam, and we made these like, the shoes that you see every kid wearing at school, out of cardboard. you know and so it's just like there are these moments where there isn't an idea on the table. I mean, there's always something, but then something totally wild comes out of left field and you're like, yeah, let's make a cardboard shoe with Vans. Sweet, let's go. And we just we all rally and we make the shoe. We get a bunch of legendary pro skaters to skate it, and that's a fun piece of content. It brought everybody
Yeah.
together. It kind of something I always say is like, if you can innovate with cardboard, you can innovate with anything. And so it's just a
Yeah.
jumping off point for people to think about. Maybe like, whatever you're working on, just play with it. Like just, that might not be the thing that you end up in ultimately building as like the production model or the business or whatever, but play with whatever materials you have around you because they do work, and if you're thinking differently and you're moving, these ideas around to good people. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a nice
Love
little
that.
takeaway.
I love that. Well, we'll roll right into that to the kind of what we're going to wrap up
Okay.
here with the Pete Peterson party pack of questions. These are just some main this or that's. We put everybody through just to
Okay.
kind of gauge their temperature on what they think about food and
Ooh.
some different things. So
Okay.
here we go. All right, Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. Dave Lee, cake or pie?
Pie, always. Yeah,
He's pieing it up. All right, salad or soup?
salad.
Salad it up. All right, sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of these days?
Oh man, wow! I'm seeing more sunrises these days. That's the
Love it.
that's
I love
the I think the benefit of getting a little bit older. You stay out. You go to bed a little bit earlier. Get up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
I think I'd rather hit a home run.
Yeah.
I feel,
Everyone's reeling from that World Series.
yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like
you asked it at the right time. I got some World Series fever right now.
I love it. All right. Night in or night out? What are you having more of these days?
Night in or night out, definitely. These days, it's a night in for sure.
Yeah. All right. When you do go out and hey, like your jam comes on, are you more likely to hit the robot or the worm?
Oh, that's an amazing question. These days, like if I'm out, I'll throw a robot. Like I'm not getting on the ground.
All right. No more ground talk. I
Yeah.
like it. All right. Guac or queso, your favorite Tex-Mex spot?
Fucking guac all day long.
Guacking it up. All right. Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
All right. Love that. Coffee or tea?
Coffee every day, all day.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Ninja or a pirate? What do you identify more with?
Man, I'm kind of a. I gotta say, like I feel very much like a pirate ninja these days. Because there's just like we're breaking rules, but we are pretty stealth the way that we move.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'd go ninja, but there's definitely some pirate DNA happening.
You got some pirate in you.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Chips or pretzels?
Oh, chips.
And that includes soft pretzels. I want you to know that.
Damn it. I do like a soft pretzel, but I think if I had to like pick one, I think over time I would probably pretzel out. Where I feel like I could probably go pretty long with a chip.
That's true. That's true. All right. Fries or tots?
Oh, fries.
All right. After a long day, is it a TV show or a movie?
Shit, dude, it's neither. I don't watch much TV or movie. It's usually music for me.
Music. Okay. Are aliens real?
I mean, I'm not saying they're not.
Okay. All right. Bigfoot, is that real?
You know, I'm a Seattle kid where people have seen. Yeah, there's a Bigfoot festival up in the Pacific Northwest. I've spent a lot of time in the outdoors up there, camping and everything. I'm not buying it.
Not buying it. Okay. Is love at first sight real?
Yes.
All right. And give me, a couple of, you mentioned some music you unwind to. Give me a couple bands that we ought to check out that maybe we know, maybe we don't know.
Oh, for unwinding, I mean, you could throw on some classics like, Radiohead or Smile. Those are good. Man, I'm in full metal and punk mode right now. So if I'm like really looking at my playlist, I'm in crazy world. Like I'm listening to Mastodon, Wizard Master, just scrolling through here. Viagra Boys, Idols. I love the Idols. I also like hip hop too. Like I love all music, everything from jazz to hip hop to metal. But I'm just go through phases. Still looking through here. Some Black Sabbath, always once a week at least. I found this band the other day. I don't even know how to say it, but Vrael, Vraell. It's a very nice way to unwind. Brian Eno, also a very good way to unwind. The new Buckingham Nicks, not bad. Not great, but not bad.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Well, I appreciate you sharing those. I think that getting some idea of what the tunes are. Maybe somewhere in those, there could be the next cardboard session in this.
Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham. Like let's go.
Let's get him out. Let's get him out. Well, Dave, I appreciate you taking the time, brother, to hop on the show, and looking forward to following up on the more cardboard sessions and seeing more of the content out that you guys got coming up, and seeing what you cardboard next or what you cook up next, in the ether here.
I appreciate it. Where are you living? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm down here in Atlanta.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
is that the South?
It's the South.
Yeah,
South. We're the South.
All right, cool. What are you listening to?
Yeah.
What are you listening to right now?
Well, this is an indie. We talk to independent artists, and I keep that kind of brought wide. So I consider you an independent artist of a different variety, but we're mainly music. So A girl I just interviewed, Zoe Bayani,
Okay.
or Bayani. I've kept butchering her last name in
Yep.
the middle of it. It was terrible, but she's awesome. I've listened to a lot of Atlanta bands, but like love Fred again, like
Cool.
as far as like DJ stuff,
Yep.
and man, I would love really big fan of Medium Build. He's a guy from Alaska.
Cool.
He's been on the show twice and he got signed. He's massive. So Perfect Animal, my
Cool.
boys here in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and there's all kind of people.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's your favorite? Like, what's your it doesn't have to be your favorite, but like in the top tier of all time Atlanta bands.
Well, Mastodon is an Atlanta band,
Yeah.
so they're awesome. R.I.P. to I actually met their member who just passed
Yeah.
away a couple times out and about, and
Yeah.
like, man, I
That dude,
tell you
that
what,
big,
good
yeah.
guy. Yeah,
I heard nothing but good things.
yeah. I would say there's a lot of great bands from here.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to find the next one.
Yeah.
That's like kind of the part of this journey is like getting people on and giving them a little bit of pub, and
I
then
love
maybe
that.
something happens, they catch fire.
That's cool, man.
Most notably, I had our girl Chapel Roan. She has DM'd me back. She had DM'd me back in 2020
What?
to get on the show,
Oh,
and
that is
we
such
couldn't
a
make it
flex.
happen. But
I love it.
we couldn't make it happen. But that's
Oh
the
my
most
God. The
most famous like
one that got away.
most famous miss.
The one that got away.
Look, I'm not mad about it. I think it's it's awesome to be able to
What a cool-
that, hey,
that's
I
a
was
great
listening to her in
story.
2020.
That's a great story.
getting the people going. But
Awesome.
yeah. Well,
Cool,
cool.
man.
Well, thank you
Well,
so much,
yeah,
man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Keep
it.
doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
if you want to
spreading
send
the
anybody my way, if you hear anybody you like and you feel like they'd be good for this, let me know,
I'll let
man.
you know,
I'm
for sure.
down to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome, Dave. Appreciate you,
Man.
brother.
All right. Take care.